Last time on Dice Fall and Everyone Dies.
I am Helba, and I am the Bramblebasher's chieftain. We've been stuck up here for so long. Days? Maybe even weeks. I just want to protect my people, but everything and everyone wants us dead. Hopefully, y'all are here to help?
Yeah, that's why I lied to this idiot. Well, we need to clear this place out if I'm gonna take over anyway, so we'll help clean it out.
My Bramblebashers! And then you see Helba going up, Warble, Cousin Warble! And they both come up and it's just this big group hug as all the goblins are scrambling up to the camp.
Oh, the goblins are adorable.
Do y'all plan on heading down in there immediately, or...?
Oh no, I need a rest.
At least the briefest of rests.
At least 8 hours.
Welcome back. I'm your GM Chris Nethery, and this week let's talk about some downtime. What is downtime? Well, in game terms, this is actually a flexible amount of time that often ranges from days to weeks where characters are expected to be in a more mundane situations with minimal threats. In Pathfinder, this mode of play is where characters train, craft, and establish themselves as a part of the world. Despite the avid efforts of designers and GMs from table to table, downtime is often glazed over in tabletop RPG groups. This habit is, well, understandable. Your friends get together to enjoy a communal experience of sci-fi fantasy hijinks. Why should the group focus on the weekly adventurer's shopping list or daily training sessions? Variety, pace, and stakes. That's why. See, not every game can or should be a pedal to the metal, every second counts action extravaganza. That is mostly because when you stack too many of those sessions back to back, mechanics in the games like combat, limited resources, and even HP begin to hamper players almost exponentially in how they play. Too much of the good thing can really spoil the meal. Pace, as a concept, helps inform and guide the modes of play, like downtime and how and when they should be used. Slower paces create character breathing room and give opportunities for players to explore their roles, and to really just be their characters. And just like non-stop action can be overdone, you don't want your players to be able to pre-plan their chores list because the next plot point happens to be the baker down the street started making less bread. While interpersonal drama can spice up any downtime session, too slow a pace can force melodramas. Downtime shines by establishing a baseline set of stakes for your players. How is the world affected by their exploits? Is the reason the baker has less bread because he's been staying up late at the pub where the bard has been singing for the last week? Has the sorcerer's boyish charm wooed the fair daughter of the baker into a torrid love affair that will rock the foundations of the town? Well, stakes, they don't have to be the ending of the world, but can just be that explosive, character-shattering worldview. Downtime is a great spot to handle those types of experiences. I love downtime as a GM because it allows players a chance to flesh out characters in non-stressful situations. Maybe during the regular day, your character is a lovable ditz, but when the initiative starts, they turn into a stone-cold killer. Maybe your day-to-day stoic hunk of a bruiser crumbles under pressure and panics once they get injured. To have and play these moments out, players have to have opportunities at the table to explore character personalities. Downtime can just do much of that heavy lifting. Where I think downtime gets pushed aside is in the accounting-like nature of things like crafting and the upkeep that naturally come with tabletop rule sets. Some activities a character undertakes just consume large amounts of realistic time, which, if you play that out at a table, would be hard-pressed to engage their fellow players. The GMs then can't also go spin a yarn for the other players because they'll make the one doing the long time activity basically feel bad for missing out on the hijinks about town. Downtime, like every other mode of play, is a tool for a GM to use in creating experiences for players to want and keep bringing them back to the table. When it's done well, it can deepen the experience of your players and really sharpen memories they can take home with them. Now, if I can only follow my own advice on this week's episode. So, what happened with Taffy's new outfit? Eh?
I think this should be appropriate in your rating. It's 3 gold.
Okay. I slide the note and the gold over to him.
Exquisite. We will have this maybe even a little bit sooner. We'll have it delivered as soon as it's available.
So I did have a question. I know you've
Yes.
technically already finished with whatever Stano's doing.
We can always revisit.
Well,
But what she wants to do is she wants to pick up a small cooking cauldron, like a one for camping,
Okay.
like a collapsible one.
All right.
We have those?
I'm gonna have Deimos
That's the thing.
reappear about this moment now that he's done attempting to sleep everything, and just kind of go with Sano on
No.
explorate. No, I'm coming. You can't leave me.
You figure the best place for that is this place called Quarters and Bits.
Cool.
And Quarters and Bits is an outfitting setup. They have part of the setup for what you'd have for like adventurers and, swords, shields, and all the other. And then you have one that's much more of like an adventuring gear houseware section, and they've almost got it like split down the center on where there's an armor and then another one with the kind of standard crafter over there. And basically in the equivalent of their kitchen utensils section, you're able to find exactly what you're looking for.
It's like a medieval REI.
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
Neither do I. That's why I said yes.
Oh.
It's like camping.
I will
Target.
Google it later.
Oh, so what you mean is it's a medieval Bass Pro Shop?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. I
Yeah.
know that one.
You had to go a little bit more southern on that one. All right. And
Cabela's.
so Demos, when you were trying to follow Steno out, Steno told you no. Did you want to try to follow anyway?
I am going to pointedly follow anyway. It's like, yes, I am following.
Did Deimos follow her to mail those letters?
No.
No,
he
Demos was
napping.
trying to take a nap.
Cool.
He was tired.
All right.
It is very important
Actually-
to Stano that nobody saw her mail those letters.
Okay. then.
It is very important to Taffy that she explored afterwards.
It's also very important for Brad to have this place cook his dragon tail.
Oh. Okay. then. So the tavern owner behind the bar is just like, sorry, it still seems relatively fresh. We can have it cooked up for you. How'd you like it done? Charred? Excellent. Well, go ahead and take it in the back for you.
Crispy.
Definitely needs to be charred. With a little bit of spices. Still fresh enough. We could stew it for you, but we think it'd lose some of the flavor.
Yeah, don't do that.
Excellent.
I want it to taste as fishy as possible or as gamey as possible, so don't put that fancy crap in there.
Ew.
Oh, good. We didn't have any to begin with.
Salt is fancy bread.
All right,
It's true
Demos.
European style.
I need you to give me a stealth check.
Oh, hold on. I do not have that. Thank you. Okay. 11.
That's not very stealthy.
He's not trying to be, in all fairness. It's just Thano. He's like, okay, screw it. I'm following.
So, give me a perception check, Steno.
One of these days I'm going to be able to do the Marks and Grumble. 21.
It is very obvious that he is following.
Is he like singing his theme song?
He's just right
He's
behind.
just, like,
The thing
strumming
is,
his
he's like
lyre
maybe a
softly.
foot behind her, just going. Do, 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 do.
So, Steno, you begin heading out, and you see not 2 seconds after you leave, just the door of the wizard's hat just fling open, and Demos wheels around on the heels, and it looks like he pauses for a moment, it's just like, 1, 2, 3, and then begins strutting down in the same direction that you go. And you're going down the street, and then after you take one turn, you see 1,
2, 3, turn, and then another strut, but a slightly different canter, as though Demos is humming a different song in his head as he's going down, and he's glancing at pretty much every pretty thing on each side. You remember that strut that Spider-Man did in one of the old Tobey Maguire ones?
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, it's pretty much the straight Tobey Maguire Spider-Man strut down the street.
You mean the terrible Tobey Maguire strut that didn't make sense?
Then as you're continuing around, you're just like, at this point, Demos is definitely following you. And you caught sight of Taffy leaving a haberdashery, going through, and you realize they've got some really good stuff in there. But at that point, you also notice that Taffy has followed after you as well. That said, it was harder to see Taffy just because, 1, stature is a little lower, and 2, Taffy is actually following behind people, moving kind of in around, always making sure Demos is slightly in front of them the entire time.
So Stano's gonna stop, and she's gonna do just a straight-up military about face to look at them, and just cross her arms over her chest.
It's like, oh, you finally stopped. I was trying to catch up.
Hi!
What?
I don't know. I was bored. And I saw you as I was coming out of the shop.
Then the two of you go find something to do.
Why? I wanted to follow you. Are you doing something important?
She's gonna take a deep breath.
All right, I'll go.
Take the bard with you.
Oh, I don't want him to come with me.
Take the bard.
Taffy grabs the bard's, like, trews or pants or whatever he's wearing and, like, tugs at him to go the opposite direction that Steno was going.
But I wanted to follow Steno.
And then she's gonna make a roll to break away from the bard.
Alright, give me a stealth check.
16.
And Demos, give me a perception check.
18.
18. So you get tugged part of the way down the street, and as y'all begin turning the corner into kind of a crowded area, it's a little ways down because this area is a little bit more of the industrial ones, but there are still people coming in and out of the dream house, so that's about the corner that y'all turned. And in like a big throng of people, you notice that Taffy let go of your pants and then began angling out away.
Watch exactly where she goes. Just like, okay, bye, I guess.
And you see that she's angling and taking another street, heading down, looks like attempting to cut off where she thinks Stano might be going.
So this is after Stano went to Quarters of Bits, right?
Yes, so you get to Quarters and Bits as they make it over to where the Great Dream House is at. Because you stopped like halfway down the avenue that takes you to that area.
At this point, Taffy's bored. So she's just gonna go wherever and head back, kind of circle. Like, now that she's lost the bard and doesn't really want to follow Steno anymore because she doesn't want to get yelled at if she gets caught, she'll go down the road that she went down to get away from the bard and then circle back again down another road heading back towards the inn.
As you begin heading, do you want to head north or south?
Which way is the inn?
The inn is to the east of you. So you are heading west.
I want to head north and east if I can.
Okay. So that takes you kind of around through a little bit more of the residential and entertainment side. And in a kind of a less busy part of the street, you end up seeing what appears to be a bookstore. It's closed down, but it reads the Reliant Book Company.
Closed down as in, like, out of business, or...
It looks like it didn't even open today.
It's not very
Wait. Isn't that the bookstore that What's-His-Nut was the apprentice at?
Calmont did say he worked as a bookseller's apprentice.
I'm gonna go up to the shop and check the doors to see if they're locked.
They are locked.
Is there, like, a side door going upstairs to, like, a residential area?
Give me a society or a perception.
Well, I have society and I have perception, so either one will be good. I have a higher society. Actually, it's even, so Ooh, 9 for perception.
So from what you can tell, there does appear to be residential aspects to this shop, but the access to them is likely on the inside.
Can I look around the shop, like on the outside a little bit more?
It appears to be a fairly standard shop. Nothing stands out from that aspect of it.
I knock on the door pretty loudly.
After about a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, no answer.
No answer. What check would I have to roll to shim my knife in between the door and pop it open?
That would be a
Breaking
thievery
the
trick.
law.
That would be a thievery trick. I don't have thievery, but
Then you will not be able to disable device.
And you got rid of the bard that does have it. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, because we all know
Hang on,
Demos
hang on.
is down for a little bit of larceny.
Never know.
I have
That's how
other
Stano
things.
met him. He was breaking and entering into her cabin.
I mean, he is chaotic neutral.
And Stano
So-
is lawful good.
I'm gonna use my
What? No.
detect magic.
No, she is not.
Okay. You do get a ping of magic in the shop, yes.
Okay.
It kind of just like, bing, boom, boom, bing, magic.
I'm gonna also. Okay, so
Magic.
let me re-up this, or let me figure out what the spell does real quick.
So while you're looking up your spell, Demos,
I have a suspicion.
what did you want to do?
There something I can roll to see if I can navigate my way back to Stano.
Yes, society.
I'm betting I don't have. Oh, I do.
Well, you
Look at that. Oh, what is this? 15?
15? So, from what you know and having heard things in the area, the things that are worth mentioning in the direction that Steno was going was the shop that y'all passed, Crimson Woods and Furs. And then there's also the archives to the south, as well as Quarters and Bits. And y'all are just a little bit south of where y'all got healed at the Great Dream House. But y'all are on the other side of the river from y'all's lodgings at the Wizard's Grace. So wherever Steno decided to pop into, likely they'll have to cross the river at one of the 3 bridges.
Hmm.
4 bridges.
Oh, so many bridges.
But the 2 closest is the one that goes through Monument Circle, and then the other one that goes by the archives. Do you want to hang out and see if you can catch Steno, or do you want to like start trying to poke your head into the different shops?
We start poking my head into different shops.
All right, give me another society check. Is kind of like a search.
19.
Why is she being harassed by these people?
He
What did
likes
she
her.
ever do?
So you start with your first thought, which is like, maybe Steno was looking for something. And you head over to Quarters and Bits. And at that point, you run into Steno having just walked out with a fresh cooking pot.
Does he just like slam right into her?
It's one of those like sudden jarring stops right before, because you go out, just like, you can see Demos was kind of looking in through the windows that are there, and then you come out brusquely, and you just like nose to nose with Demos.
Found you.
Nose to nose?
Well, how much taller are you?
Not by much. I think they're supposed to be about the same height.
Your
Okay.
nose is angled up a little bit more, so pretty much
There you
nose to
go.
brow. And you look down your nose at Demos, and you're just like,
Found you.
She's going to threateningly lift the cauldron above his head like she's going to slam it down on him.
He is not intimidated.
Move!
He needs to take a side step.
And now she's going to quickly walk away.
He's going to attempt to follow.
where would you like to go, Steno?
So there's a river.
Yes.
How far away is it?
Not very far. In fact, just down the lane, you see one of the bridges.
How dangerous does this river look?
Well, they do call it Breach Creek, so it's not powerfully deep.
Or wide.
Okay. She's going to pick him up by the back of his shirt. What do I
Okay.
need to roll for that?
Grapple.
Yep, give me an attack roll. Demos, what is your AC?
14.
Oh, we good.
Just naturally 20.
Oh,
God.
That's
No.
a good.
natural 20, right?
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We have the critical hit deck. I see that 20.
But it was unarmed. It was
Correct, so
not-
that
and
means it's bludgeoning.
She's not trying to kill him.
All right,
I don't
She's just
want
trying to pick him
damage.
up.
which one do you want? Let's pick it out. All right, what is it'll be the top one.
Tiring blow. The target is fatigued.
So,
He was already
So
tired.
he's so tired that he drowns.
well, yes, but now you have the fatigued condition. So if you'll grab that condition card and hand it over to Demos. So Steno picks Demos up by first kind of starting at the scruff of your collar and then kind of doing a toss at your side. Just this wheel that she did and just picked you up and boop, you just realize that you're now in the air, horizontal, and then you just see the bridge pass by as you just splash and land into the creek.
Is that what they might mean by Superman?
And as you get Supermaned,
That hoe.
you land in the water. Give me an athletics check.
Oh God!
Oh, I
To
don't
make sure you
have
land on your-
athletics.
To make sure you land on your back so you don't drown.
4.
Oh no!
You are flailing in the water and are now fatigued.
That's a problem.
How deep is the water?
And this means you're taking a -1 status penalties to AC saving throws. And it is much harder for you to do several different types of exploration activities. You know you won't feel much better until you rest for the evening. And that just makes this swimming even harder as you begin floundering, thinking that you have to do a full breaststroke to get to the edge. And it wasn't until you realize, oh, I have to stand, that you're like, whew.
Once she realizes that he's alive, basically, he's breathing and everything, she was slightly concerned when she tossed him. She's gonna turn and go into the haberdashery. She's not gonna buy anything, she just kind of wants to...
Check it out.
He's going to slowly pull himself out of the water and just lay on the grass for a while.
Reconsider his life choices.
Like, damn it.
So you get over to the haberdashery. I should have its name memorized. Crimson Wood Furs. You walk in. My lady, it is a pleasure to have you in our shop today. What might we be of service for?
Sorry, jotting down notes.
Yes.
She's gonna kind of look around. She's like, I'm familiar with the history of the shop. I was hoping you could tell me more about the Order of the Nail.
Ah, yes. We supplied many of the formal wear for the Hell Knights of the Order of the Nail. Everything from what we would do for their armature insignias to their tabards, various types of tapestries we would be able to do some of the assisting on. So we do more along the lines of their formal attire for what's going on. We had a very profitable relationship with them. They were fantastic customers. Epic style. It was so sad when they decided to move off to Varissia. I do miss them.
And their business.
We do miss their business, yes. Small halfling who is gallivanting around a bookstore.
Gnome.
Yes, gnomeling, running around a bookstore.
I'm not in the bookstore yet.
But yes, we did swift business. They had an impeccable style. Would you like to see some of the designs that we did
Yes.
for them? Excellent. Let me show you my sketches. And you see the sketches come through, and you just look at all of the different designs that are done through. And the thing is when you start getting into it, you realize he's at a Gorian level design that's there. Like, you're surprised no one's come along and swiped him out of this town yet level of design.
She's actually gonna take him and be like, why are you here?
Someone must be here to service. You can't just have all the locals running around in the most sodden of attire. Plus my grandmother on my wife's side is over here. And we were servicing the Hell Knights, and then once we had our full business started up, it made it very difficult to move. Plus, with all of the caravans coming in through Druma and out and around, it's been still quite profitable to remain. Every once in a while, I do long for the days where we have more affluent folk come through. Much like the cut that you're wearing there. You are a long way from where that was brought together. Imported, and I can tell probably, yes, that pollen only comes from a few places. It's very hard to launder some of that out, but it's fine. You are a long way from home, my dear.
Well, can't stay home forever.
That is true. The road does sometimes call us all. And when you need something to protect you from the weather of the road, we'll be happy to serve you properly.
Of course. She's going to extend her hand to shake his.
He does so quite eagerly and happily. Until then, do you want to see this design I did for the very last one of the Hell Knights?
Yes.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Show me.
And y'all, for a good chunk of the evening until he closes, nerd out about different Hell Knight formal designs. You see that a lot of the designs do end up matching one of the insignias that you ended up picking up. And so you can see a lot of callbacks that are in on those.
I'm going to show him the...
This was some of our fine work. It's terrible to see it caught in such a state. Would you like that properly repaired?
Yes.
Excellent. And so he gets it, calls over a couple of just like, so, but we were about to... That does not matter. You know the rules, young one. Get over here and make sure you have your thimble. Last time you poked yourself so deep your mother came calling at me. It was quite atrocious. Now, bread. You have cooked, not quite gator, not quite dragon, but some mix in between.
Mm-hmm.
Prepared with some potatoes and a few other local greens and a big mug of ale that's there with you.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to bed down for the evening before we move the next day?
Well, can I do a little more? Just real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. He's got his food in front of him.
Yep.
Big old slab of meat.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at the plate, and he takes his fork and just impales the meat, grabs the tabard, and just picks up the meat with his fork, and then holds a drink in the other hand and walks away. Leaves all the greens there on the plate. He goes to look for the...
He's going to get scurvy.
the most, like, kind of quiet-looking person in the tavern.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to ask him about the... what is it? The Emberclaw Tavern? Or the Emberclaw cult? What are they called?
The Cinderclaws?
Cinderclaw. He wants to see if he knows anything about that. Or he's just kind of asking around, but...
All right. Give me a society.
17.
Cinderclaw? Never heard of them. They sound like a nasty bunch. Like they have their fingers set on fire. No, never heard of them. Worst thing we've ever heard of dealing when it comes to cults is what they have going on with the earrings and all of those other Asmodean organizations. Those are the worst cults we have around here. I think the worst cults we have around here. You never know, there could be some crazy hobgoblin cults running around at some point. But Santa Claus, no, never heard of them.
Okay. Well, satisfied, I guess, with not really knowing much about it. He's done for the day. He just kind of wants to walk out door and...
Still holding his meat on his
Still
fork.
holding the meat on the fork.
Meat on a fork.
Meat on a fork. And just go around the side of the building and just sit against the wall and drink and eat his food. And then that's just kind of where he leaves himself for the night.
Okay. Now, back at our home. Sneaky Taffy.
Stinky Taffy?
Sneaky Taffy.
Oh.
I'm gonna use acid splash on the door.
Why?
Just on if I can do it right on the handle.
Okay, doke. What's the maximum damage you can do on Acid Splash?
1d6.
And do you have any bonuses to that?
You hit. You deal 1d6 acid damage plus 1 splash acid damage.
So, after a couple moments, you realize that the acid from your cantrip is not powerful enough to damage the wood or iron.
She's gonna look around the building again.
Okay.
And she's gonna look for an alternative entrance aside from the front door.
Well, there are windows.
I know. Does any of them look likely and reachable enough for her to climb in?
The front ones are likely the best ones. Most of the others tend to be a bit taller.
Are they open?
No.
Do they look like they can be easily opened?
You could always break the glass.
She's not gonna break the glass.
She'll melt a handle.
But she won't break glass.
Melting a handle is a little less ostentatious and loud than smashing a giant pane glass window.
From what you can tell, the fastest way in would likely be to break the glass, but unless you have thievery skill, it is unlikely that you'll be able to break in otherwise.
Is there any, like, glass on the door? Like, is it a glass pane door, or is it just, like, a solid oak door?
It's a solid door.
So, in Taffy's mind, the way it's working right now is, if he was an apprentice for this shop, and the owner of the shop is not responding, there's a likelihood that there's something wrong with the owner. So she's concerned that he might be dying or dead.
She.
Oh, so she's concerned that the owner might be dying or dead, and you said it's a she?
Mm-hmm.
That she might be dead. Has anybody seen her since, like, did they see her before they headed out to get him?
Who are you going to ask?
Well, no, I'm recalling in my memory, did we see the shop owner before we headed out to get Calma?
Give me a society check.
12.
From your recollection, you only remember seeing Calmont among the notable folks running around.
Taffy's gonna make all this effort just to find out, like, there's a note on the fucking counter that's like, Calmont will be back in 2 weeks, went to see Mom.
Well, in her mind, she can justify breaking in at this point.
So you're going to break in?
Yes.
Go break the glass?
Yes.
All right, give me a stealth.
I rolled a 1.
Oh no.
Oh, Lord.
So you break the glass, and someone was like, "Hey, you! Yes, you over there by the bookstore. What are you doing?"
Checking on the owner. She's not responding.
So you're going to break in her window?
I'll pay for it to get fixed.
Well, why don't you just go get a guard? In fact, that's a great idea. Let's go get the guard and see what they think about it. Haven't you ever heard of the broken window fallacy? Don't break our windows.
It's too late now.
Have we noticed? You, come with me. We're going to go get this taken care of right now.
You know,
I dart into the store.
Taffy still has her spell slots.
I know.
Well, so you broke the window, so you broke a pane of the window.
Oh, I see.
But you haven't gotten in to unlock it yet. As soon as you broke it, basically, there was someone immediately noticed you. You're
Hang
just
on.
like, yeah, I'll go ahead and break it open. There's no one around me. And there was like someone literally like right next to you. You rolled a 1.
But I also rolled perception. I would have known if there were people around. Fine. I'll go with them to the guard, but she's gonna also use diplomacy with the guard.
Okay.
Actually, can I use diplomacy on the person that's yelling at me?
What would you like to say?
Who is this person?
Essentially what I said, I'm checking to see if the shop owner's alive, and because we're concerned because Calmont might have killed her, and...
Alright, give me a diplomacy check.
Okay, that's cocked. I am getting a different dice. It rolled on top of the other dice.
I know, someone had one of their buttons for their heroes points instead of using on a perception check. It might have been useful right then.
You know what?
Huh.
You know what? You know what? That was a cocked dice.
Alright.
That wasn't, though. So does a 10 help me at all?
Just because you're cute doesn't necessarily mean that you get to run around here and do whatever you want. Come on, let's go.
She shrugs. Okay, is there a guard nearby?
Yes, he's right over there.
Okay. She walks past that person and goes to the guard. Hey, I broke a glass window trying to get to the shopkeeper to save this person's life in case they were dead or dying.
How do you know they're in trouble?
Because Calmont was their apprentice, and we brought him in.
Well, Calmont's in custody. Why would they be
Yeah,
in danger
but
now?
has anybody seen the shop owner since Calmont went running?
So you're saying we should go to the council?
I'm saying we need to check to make sure she's alive first.
Well, I mean, you've been there for a day. If it's such an emergency, let's go ahead and get people signed off on it first. As soon as we get it signed off, I'm sure we'll be able to get entry into
Deception. Or not deception, but diplomacy on the guard.
it. Okay.
Oh my god! 7.
Procedure is procedure.
Alright, let's go.
So you get down.
Is this anywhere reasonably close to where the Kervosin is sleeping?
Or any of us.
Or any of us?
So Taffy is on the other side of town for most of you, but the Reliant Book Company is relatively close to Caden's keg. And down the street, you have...
But it's also close to the council, so we don't have
it's
to go.
relative. You don't have to run too far, but you're on the opposite side of the town hall from Breach Creek. And so from the book company, y'all head down the avenue, you hang a left, and then hang a right just past the dream house. Give me a perception, Fred.
16.
So you hear a very unhappy gnomish voice that you recognize.
We're taking so much time. We could be saving her life if she's tied up or dying.
Procedure is procedure. We got to make sure we do all the things. You don't just randomly kick in or
I didn't kick it. I
bust
can't
in.
reach that high.
Well, you're not supposed to take your staff and just bust in part of someone's glass.
But she could be dying.
Or she could be on vacation. We don't know.
Have you seen her since before Calmont tried to burn everybody alive in the council chambers? I don't think so.
I didn't see you until 2 days ago.
But I just brought...
Okay.
I just brought Calmont back.
Brad has been
I'm a recognized
listening,
hero in this damn
but
town.
not getting involved. He now kind of understands what's going on, what she tried to do. He's kind of putting it together in his head. She's going to let that happen, but he's also going to go back to the bookshop and see if...
You sneaky bitch! She wanted to be the one to find out if somebody was dead.
Well, lives are more important than pride.
That's fair, but you're gonna get in trouble if she's gonna get in trouble if... anyway, it's fine.
So Taffy gets escorted. Hauled may be more appropriate, but escorted.
No, she walks of her own volition. She's just pissed.
Escorted over to the Breach Hill Town Hall. Bread, you make it over to the Reliant Book Company, and you see that there is a pane of glass knocked out from the front window. Not fully shattered, because it's not like one giant pane that's there. But it looks like you're not quite sure how the gnome was going to be able to do it without breaking more of the glass.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like that's the door is locked.
Okay.
And that pane there is open.
He's going to go and see if there's a back door.
As you run around and check, there is not a back door.
She
Great.
checked for that first.
Well, okay, well.
But you didn't, so yeah, that makes sense.
So he's going to try to break in?
Okay. Do you want to just brute force your way in?
No, I've got thievery and thieves' tools, so.
All right. Give me a thievery check. Attempt to disable the locks.
18.
18? There is an oddly intricate lock on here.
Weird.
It's not what you would normally expect to find on any standard shop, even for most magic shops. It didn't break your tool like you would have expected it to do in other games like Skyrim, but it has not unlocked yet.
Okay. Well, I guess he's going to try to stealth in, or whatever she was trying to do with the window.
Okay, give me a stealth.
Look around for people first.
Well, he just rolled a natural 1.
Oh my god!
Would you like to turn in a button on that?
Oh yeah, I've got 2 of those. Let me do that. I don't want to deal with that right now.
So many checks, so many buttons, and you weren't even going to die, but now maybe you could.
Good lord.
Here,
At least.
that was a 2.
Take
Take
your
it.
punishment. Save your button.
No,
Another
I'm
button!
frustrated now.
Tell me more, Bread.
Try a different dice.
That was the different.
Oh,
Oh no.
Try another different dice.
okay.
13.
Well, at least somebody wasn't right there.
So you try to see if there's a way that you can like get your hand in and try to reach, but you realize you probably need to break like 2 more panes to get in there. And you look to the left, you look to the right, you kind of look over your shoulder a little bit, and you break it, and there's this the crunching sound of glass, and as you're trying to clear away some of the wood, that's when you realize an additional snap caught as a group of young men in guard uniforms round out. You there! shady stranger wearing a tricorner. Is that a tricorner hat? I think that's a tricorner hat. You in the boots! What are you doing?
I heard some yelling from inside. I was trying to help. There was already the glass was already broken out, so I thought there was something shady going on.
Give me a check. You know which one. Give me that deception.
14.
If someone was crying out, there are many other ways to handle it. Let's see what's going on. And they come over and they listen. They see everything's dark. They don't hear any cries. They don't see any candlelight up in the area. They're just like, I don't think you're telling me the truth. We've got a place for liars like you who want to get destructive.
Okay. Is Steno around here? Or
No,
is she
Steno's
walking
back at the
out?
wizard's hat.
Oh,
Or the
great.
wizard's grace.
Is Deimos around? Is
What
he
was
off
the
the
what was
bank?
the town's
Can
leader's name
Deimos be around?
that we talked to already? That we already are in good favor with.
Gritty or Greta Gridania.
Okay.
Cardania?
Gridania.
I just say if you're gonna take me somewhere, take me to Miss Gridania. We have favor. Or well, I don't say that. She must be told what's going on.
Come with us and you'll see Greta in due time, sir. We don't take kindly to petty banditry in town.
Okay. So obviously they're going to be hauling him off towards the local jail area. Is that going to go by the wizard's grave?
No, y'all are on the other side.
Sorry, man.
So,
I've been in jail once. I'll be in jail again.
But in
So-
any case, is there a way for Deimos to come by?
Demos does get up to the shore, finishes shaking the water off. And where did Demos want to go?
Ah, shoot. Probably one to explore, but he is fatigued, so I'm not really sure.
Yes, Demos is feeling exceedingly tired. The effects of your nap have basically been all ruined.
Would going from where he was towards the inn, is that going to take him anywhere near this?
No.
Mm-mm.
Damn. Then no, I have no solution.
Okay. So, Taffy, you were introduced very kindly to a clerk who's essentially the night clerk at this point. They're like, she doesn't look drunk.
I'm not drunk. I'm not drunk. I'm pissed off. I'm trying to save someone, and this person brought me here, and I'm just trying to see if the bookkeeper that works in the shop that Calmont worked in is okay.
Did you knock on the door?
Yes,
Yeah, and then she broke in the glass. Well,
I waited a while.
that's still, you don't
I
just
knocked
break the
a couple
glass.
times, and I tried to open the door, and it wouldn't open, and I tried to knock again, and then I broke the glass.
What is your relationship with Voz?
We were sent as adventurers. We did the hero's call, and we went and got Calmont. Calmont, as far as I'm aware, is Vaz's apprentice, or was Vaz's apprentice.
Well, he's still out cold. Apparently
Yeah.
someone put a lot of knocks into the back of his head.
He deserved it.
Well, that does explain the size of the bump. It did appear to be a bit like a gnomish fist.
I used a dagger.
Close. That had hurt even more.
Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, he's the one that set the council chambers on fire, so he's probably done something terrible to Vaz.
We didn't expect him of arson. Give me a diplomacy. What'd you roll?
Does a 9 do anything for me? Given my impassioned speech?
Miss Taffy, you do make a valid point. But it is a valid point for the morning. We can overlook overzealous investigation this time. We won't even charge the standard fees associated that we would normally expect from someone who was caught red-handed breaking and entering. And especially trying to do a town
Is
a
Greta
service.
around?
She is at her home, likely resting. It's been a very hard day.
Believe me, I know.
We recommend you head to your lodging and rest as well.
Fine.
But we'll have one of our men go out round, and we'll have him stand guard and see if Oz is been seen by anyone else.
Okay,
Thank you for this information.
you're welcome.
We'll go ahead and put it in our reports.
Also, okay, never mind.
Please be well, Miss Taffy.
I will. Foz probably will be dead, but I'll be okay.
And I leave. On my way out, do I see Bread coming in?
So, as you're heading out, you're right across from the Wizard's Grace, where you're lodged. Bread is coming down the bridge through the monument, which is on the
I send
opposite
Wimble
side.
up to Stenos' window
Okay.
to tap on it.
So, Steno, you hear a
I see
tink,
you.
tink, tink, tink,
I
tink.
know something's going on.
You could have, I mean, hindsight, but Wimble could have gone through.
I know. I realize that too.
Anyway, so Wimble's
Tap, 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 tap. You see Sparkles and William Dafoe. Tap, 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 tap.
I love Willem Dafoe. Oh my god, can I have your autograph?
He writes on the glass. It's
Out,
mostly-
am I?
Actually, it's foul language. It really is.
Yes.
It's super foul, but it's like, look out the effing window now.
There's a moment where she crosses over and she takes hold of the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
There's a moment where she's like, I should close this curtain and get in my bed.
But
She's gonna look out the window.
I beckon and then point down toward the bridge where I see him coming.
She
And
resists the urge to give a very rude hand gesture.
William
So-
Dafoe gives it back. And then flies
You
back down
see
to
her
me.
hand up in the window and then she just lowers it.
as you look towards where Wimble was pointing, you see a figure being escorted across a bridge surrounded by other figures. Give me a perception check.
9.
Whoever it is, they're wearing a tri-cornered hat.
She knows who that is. She's gonna head down.
Taffy's
She's gonna
already on
head
her
out
route,
to
too.
the town, over to the town hall, because that's where she's assuming they're taking him.
And so as you...
She's not armored, I will say this. She is obvious that she threw on her clothing and she was ready to go to bed.
Taffy has no intentions of fighting the guards.
So, Taffy, after Wimble returns to you, what do you do?
I go to cut off the guards and Bread.
Okay, so
Excuse me.
at this point, you know, a small gaggle of guards and Bread are coming up. Yes, Gnomish one.
Why are you arresting my friend?
He is being brought in for questioning for breaking, but not yet entering.
And,
Mostly the breaking.
while he's talking and they're talking, somehow I still have my meat on the stick.
Yes.
And I'm just like,
It seems a
They
bit
didn't
casual.
manacle you, they didn't haul you, they're not like hauling you, you're just...
Brad,
yeah,
what'd you do?
I don't know. They're just trying to help, I guess.
Did you go to the shop?
I did.
Diplomacy. Finally! That's a 20. I explain the situation.
Ah, so we already have someone investigating. Excellent. Let's go ahead and bring you in for a report, and then you can get on your way for the evening.
Thank you.
Stano's gonna wander up. Is there a problem here?
Not anymore.
Are they your friends?
Yes.
Aw. You broke through his rough exterior.
As he's eating meat.
Aw.
They seem to have a fascination with breaking glass.
I was trying to help someone.
And one of the guards is like, yeah, breaking glass and getting caught.
You! Is that any way for a proper guard to act?
No.
Then hush.
I use diplomacy on Steno. Oh shit, no I don't. I was gonna explain the situation to Steno, but it doesn't matter. Steno will believe me.
Taffy,
Yes.
have you already handled the situation over at the town hall?
Yeah.
Then there seems no need to escort him. I'll take him back to his room.
Excellent.
You, Bread, let's go.
He just shrugs and just follows you.
Give me a perception check.
All of us are just
Yeah, everyone except Demos, because Demos is getting ready to snore.
I don't see shit. 7.
13.
8.
Why are we rolling so low today? We are all rolling terrible.
I actually have pretty great rolls today. I don't know what's wrong with y'all.
I'm gonna scrap these dice are in jail. I think those are the 2 dice I jailed last time too.
So, you hear a couple low comments from the guards, but it was hard to make out, and then they were just chuckling. Something about sandwich and bread.
She didn't hear it.
Correct.
So she doesn't know exactly what they said, but she is going to stop. And you remember how earlier she did that very military about face?
Yes.
She's going to do the same thing again.
Do you have an intimidate?
Yes, I do.
Give me an intimidate.
It's a nat 20.
23.
And as you turn with the military precision that's there, they catch sight and they go, "Yes, ma'am!"
Oh.
Do you have something to share with the class?
"No, ma'am!"
Get.
"Yes, ma'am!" And they break off.
Pretty impressive. This is like an infinite amount of meat, by the way. This is going to last as long as I want it to. As long as it's still funny.
Meat log.
You're just slowly eating it, just like one bite at a time. You're just like making sure you get in your 100 chews per bite.
You don't want constipation. That's bad out in the field.
I mean,
She's
you're
so
not wrong.
irritating.
That's why it's important to really chew your food.
She's going to gently but firmly grasp Bread's upper arm
And escort him into the tavern.
and Taffy's shoulder
I don't need a guard.
and escort the two of them into the wizard's grace. She's going to firmly but gently nudge Taffy so that Taffy knows she needs to get to her room, and then look at the barkeep and be like, "We need to set up a room for the new one."
Luckily, we have just one more space. And you see this cute little girl with, like longer, whitish colored hair. "We have a perfect space just for him." Well, we think anyway. This is one where we put everyone with the tri-cornered hat.
What? I don't
Well,
get that
I mean,
reference.
it's the one where we put all the ones we think that are dashing. Yes, we'll go with dashing.
Hey, wait a minute. I will
Would you like
not
to try
have
some
that
for
in
a
this
boar
podcast.
stew?
He doesn't need the stew, he has tail. Are you okay?
Bread went out to get some tail.
Did you get that over at Cadence Keg? They're always known for undercooking their food.
Well, if it's undercooked, I mean, it's just like sushi then, so it's fine.
What's sushi?
You know.
Raw fish.
We know someone over there at the Great Dream House in case you end up needing treatment.
Oh, God.
I don't know where that's from, but that does not look like it came from well, what is that?
You want some? He doesn't tell her what it is. He just like,
He's gonna poke the chewed in at her.
want to find out?
The odd degree of Epicurean seems to rise up, and she kind of leans over and... No, I think I'm fine.
Well, whatever.
Corvosan, go to bed.
I go to bed.
Stano's gonna march up to her bed. She's tired. She's also gonna pull all of her curtains very firmly closed.
So you get into your room, door open, door closed. You turn, you get right over to the curtains, you close them in, and then you realize something. Demos is laid out across the whole bed.
Dripping wet still.
No, he's right himself off.
Well,
You take a
kind
step
of
in
wet.
the direction of the bed, and then you realize Damos has left his wet clothing right there.
You just stepped in wet clothing. Oh no! I think there's gonna be a murder, all right. Taffy's ears perk up as she hears just this internal scream of pure, unadulterated rage. Are you sure you're not a barbarian?
She's gonna take a deep breath.
Demos, give me a perception check.
I'm asleep.
I know. This is your innate sense of terror and dread.
10.
Oh no.
You are still asleep. Steno.
Dead asleep.
She's going to very gently, because he's on top of the bed, right?
Yes.
She's going to very gently take the top blanket and wrap it around, like kind of like wrapping like a burrito.
Okay.
She's going to lift him up off the bed
Okay.
and set him down on his own wet clothing. And then get in the bed.
Give me an athletics check.
That could have been a lot worse.
I thought she was going to throw
I'm proud of your
My restraint.
restraint. Yes.
Well, she has to deal with him quite a bit. Oh,
That is
no.
a 16.
16. So you didn't realize he was that light.
Oh no!
And you're just like, do you put his head or his butt on the
His
wet clothing?
head.
His head on the wet clothing? Give me one more perception check, Demos.
He's going to have such terrible bedhead in the morning.
Oh no, 22.
Oh.
So you get set down, and then you just like you
smell
have this
something.
dream of like you're being licked by a really large hound, and it licks one side of your face, and then it's licking the other side of your face, and you realize, why do I feel like your dream switches to like you were underwater again and flailing around, and as you wake up, you're face down. Steno, you hear him kind of rustle, and all of a sudden he's just like, you have the sense of water over your nose, and then you begin coughing. You realize you're smelling your water-drenched, river-drenched pants. You're like, oh, there was some seaweed in there.
Can I just take a moment to point out that that Deimos had that hard time at the creek, and his mom is literally a cleric of Gaucher?
Yep.
Didn't do so hot there.
Yep.
She didn't pass
Just
down the
remember,
family
Gosray is a
secrets.
god of the land and the sea.
He grew up on the water. He should know better.
Right? She
So
is
is he
comfortably
awake
You are
again?
on, yeah, you are on the floor, and your pillow is your old wet clothing. But
Okay.
you are in a comfy, warm blanket.
He is going to calmly get up with the blanket and curl into the bed in a space that she is not.
Smelling of creek.
And-
So,
and-
Steno,
seaweed.
you're on one part of the sheets, and then Demos is curled up, kind of like a lost puppy, at the end of the bed.
That's fine. She's going to sleep.
It's so beautiful when y'all have all of the fun adventures in town. You finished saving a small goblin tribe, and you have them camped out at a hill right outside of the large castle all-terrain.
This is all in one day, by the way.
And you get back, and you get a few of, you get paid. You got gold. Like, you got a solid recompense. You picked up, Brad picked up a magical short bow. Y'all have picked up a few potions. You get everyone healed, and you go about your business. You got all this stuff going on, and you end the day, one, getting cold and wet, two people nearly getting arrested, and then your wonderful team mom making sure that everyone is safe and cozy for an evening's rest.
Thanks, Mom.
I will drop kick all of you.
And in the next morning, we'll find out what happens next time.
Steno, teen
I don't know how
mom.
she turned into teen mom.
It would be so easy to think they hid it with the summoning supplies. After a holiday at sea, a river trip through Iska, and a lovely hike in the hills of the Five Kings, while splendid, was not worth leaving my training at Citadel Vraid. It must be here somewhere. Mother often administered the test. She was always one for results over style. Maybe she hid it in the testing chambers. If not, I'll have to make my way into the crypts below. If Father had his way, he would have stashed it in a vaulted storeroom. It is the last tie I have to the Stalgrim name. Death does have a nasty habit of reprioritizing. First things first. Test chamber, then vaults. I do hope there are no ghouls in this place. We don't need another last wall. Nor Ustalov.